Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Since you're Mr. President-elect, Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
you are attacking our.
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
President-elect Trump refused point-blank to answer questions from CNN today because of the story they published the previous day. CNN's correspondent Jim Acosta said that incoming Press Secretary Sean Spicer threatened to throw him out of the press conference if he tried to ask another question. That incident and Trump's behavior throughout his first press conference as president-elect raises some serious questions and implications for American democracy and questions about how our institutions will deal with him. Joining me now to help me answer that, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. What did you make of the press conference today?
Well, first of all, so I'll speak as a director then, as a film director. It was a masterful performance. He owned the room. He owned the day. This should be very distressing to everyone.
You think it was politically effective today?
Absolutely, especially for he and his side.
As showmanship.
As such, I did this in my head. Take those same words you just showed. You are fake news. Put those words in Nixon's mouth. You're fake news. You know? It would have sounded like the paranoid that Nixon was. Put those words in George W. Bush's mouth, you know, you're fake news. It would have sounded defensive and like the little boy. This guy pulls that off, and he pulls it off over and over and over again and confuses the situation with so much. You don't know really, I mean, we don't have enough time here to deal with everything that was said and done. But again, speaking as a director, once again, the props, the Trump stakes were replaced by file folders that they wouldn't let. By the way, I don't know if this has been reported. They wouldn't let the reporters.
We said that earlier today because one of our own reporters, I
tried to look inside
among others, says, well, what's in here?
Yeah, because of course somebody went to Staples an hour earlier.
Clear, very yes. I mean, I don't know, but that's
created this prop
plausible.
That looks like a law student's dorm room. You know, it's like it really.
It's like how obviously we've thought this through, and obviously we've addressed the conflict of interest. Just look at how many sheets of paper there are.
Just look at all this paper in an era where none of this is really on paper. So it's so this is where now, after this, what happened today, the threat against CNN. And NBC has suffered the same sort of threat before.
He's attacked our reporter Katie Turn multiple occasions, and
absolutely. So now it's critical that the media do its job. And do not be afraid. Do not back down. Do not try to, because BuzzFeed, you know, screwed up in some way because of the Michael Cohen thing. Don't now not do your job because this clearly was something that wasn't vetted.
Well, so here's my, so you're referring to, of course, that dossier which had circulated. It was published by BuzzFeed. It contained a bunch of completely unverified and possibly unverifiable, frankly, outlandish and lurid accusations. You know, you could tell from the very first moment that in a sort of smart tactical sense, they were going to attack the weakest point, So that was totally distinct from the CNN report, But he conflated the two, very wisely, I thought, to sort of attack them both and
correct.
And
the main story, really, as if you're a serious journalist, isn't the salacious prostitute stuff. It's the second point, which is, was there collusion between the Trump campaign and any Russians during the campaign? And that's worthy of the investigation that apparently the FBI and others are doing now.
So we should note that Jim Acosta, that was the question he was asking, actually, was can you state categorically? It was dodged. Acosta then said afterwards that someone from ABC asked that, and the president-elect did say no, so I want to enter that in the record. Here's my question to you. You know, I have watched this play out in the transition period, and what I've noticed is this. You know, Donald Trump ultimately became president-elect, I think, because he was able to profit off a forced choice between himself and Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton, because of 30 years in the public eye, because of a whole different cohort of factors, he was able to say, well, you know, you may not like me, but it's me or her, right? And he attacked her as the kind of alternative. It strikes me that he has now replaced Hillary Clinton, who's no longer on the ballot, with the media. That the media, he is now running against the media.
So the scary part of that analogy is you have Hillary who won, but because of the Democrats and who they are and the way they are, she lost. Are you saying,
Well, I mean, she didn't win in the sense that she did not win the 270 electoral votes necessary to become president.
Well, let me put it a different way. If Donald Trump had won by 3 million popular votes,
things would have played out very differently.
What would be going on right now?
Yes, I agree completely.
Everybody knows the answer, including Donald Trump. to
yes,
that
yes.
question.
In fact, he laid the groundwork for it. And
correct.
Sure. Right.
Correct. Because he thought that.
So play that out, though, right? So when you say the press has to be uncowed, and I think I agree with you. My own personal perspective on this, they also have to sort of focus as much as possible, which is very difficult to do, right? Very difficult to do.
Yes, right. Because you're dealing with somebody with certain issues. We'll call it that.
Right.
Just to.
Who likes to pick a million fights and likes
who says a million crazy things.
That's right.
He will, in one moment today, say he believes that Russia did hack into the DNC, and literally less than a minute later,
say, I don't know.
Nah, maybe not. Maybe it was somebody, some other country. Fortunately, the 400-pound guy sitting on the bed now has been left out of the discussion. Right. But it could be other countries. It could be other countries. So this is crazy time, but it's so important. We're sitting here, we're laughing about this a little bit, but the media has to. I mean, how they said people knew this story, that this story had been floating around. Did you know? Had you heard it?
I had heard word of it, but I certainly hadn't seen the dossier. What I had read was I had read David Korn's piece, which was based off this dossier.
Right, okay.
I mean, in terms of the first order question, I mean, I think that you don't publish that dossier. That's my own personal feeling.
Right.
Because you got to verify stuff that you published. You publish. I mean, that's my feeling.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And as someone who I myself have had BuzzFeed print things about me that aren't true.
Right.
So
now you're sounding Trumpish.
And well, no, it's just the truth that this is where this is going to be the undoing of the press if they don't do what you just said. If that kind of serious journalism doesn't happen. And we should be also we should point out that NBC Universal is an investor in BuzzFeed.
Yes, they are.
Anytime that's mentioned, it should be said.
So we should say here, though, that you're getting at the sort of pay dirt here, right? Which is, what is the term he used? They've all now appropriated this term, fake news. Fake news is this term.
Fake news that he's one of the founders of in the Obama era. So he created the fake news of the
Barack Obama is not a citizen, and
he said that there was intelligence.
That's right. He was called by a reputable,
credible
source,
that there was intelligence. He himself was going to. He was hiring investigators.
Yes.
To support his fake news. In fact, he is the godfather of this decade's fake news.
This is
for him now to say fake news.
I know. This is a great point. As a person who launched his political career off of unverifiable and ultimately incorrect, conspiratorial, and frankly racist theories about the president's crypto-Kenyan birth, and forged documents and all this stuff.
And the fact that the way he deals with the sex thing is his defense is, I'm a germaphobe. He just admits it publicly on TV. He goes, I'm a germaphobe. Like to him, like that takes care of any sex.
Well,
sex is all dirty and germy and whatever.
Yeah,
that's what he used.
Okay, but
this could have never happened.
I'm not going to get into the weeds.
This could have never happened because I'm a germaphobe.
I'm not going to get into the weeds of that.
And I know where they put the cameras in the hotel rooms because I have hotels.
That was also fascinating. But here's the thing, right? The term fake news, and what I found so sort of potent about that is this described this very specific thing that happened during the election. You see it all the time, in your Facebook feed. Denzel Washington endorses Donald Trump, right? It's just not a true thing. Right. And the people that wrote that know it's not true. It's not even that important, frankly. But it's not true, right?
Right. No, he even tweeted, I put out a movie against him called Trumpland just before the election. And he tweets, thank you, Michael Moore, for putting out Trumpland.
Right.
And it's like, and I thought at the time, he just sees his name in the title, so he thinks, it's always, to a narcissist, it's always a great thing to see your name. But, it's just.
But we're through the looking glass, right? He has appropriated this term to say that it's a sort of judo move where it's everything is now
that's why I'm telling you, this was genius today. He pulled it off. Now we'll wait to see if the press decides to back down or come back at him.
And stay on the conflict story, which to me...
And stay on the fact that he is a founder of fake news.
Right.
And that's, and when he says things like, over the weekend, I was offered $2 billion. Have you ever heard a president or a president-elect ever say, I just got offered $2 billion
I was, and I have to say, I was happy for that moment because it was news. We didn't know that. And it also concretized precisely the conflict problem that we have been trying to illustrate on the show, which has been very difficult. Michael Moore, thank you.
And thank you. And let me just say that you are the best MSNBC host ever created by God. God created you, Chris, to be here.
Thank you, Michael. Alec Baldwin should be looking over his shoulder. That's
No way.
That is. I was not lying. Actually, that was just me.